All right. So next is the Pacific Tigers. And, well, there's only one direction to go, right? This team was about as bad as you could possibly make a basketball team a year ago. And that's obviously that's not sugarcoating it. That's not like it was bad. They were 6-26. They were 0-16 in the WCC. They were a Ken Palm 358, which was 5 from the bottom. And it ended with one of the worst performances I think any of us have ever seen in that 102-43 loss to Pepperdine in the first round of the WCC tournament. It was bad. Very bad. But they cleaned house, and Pacific hopes to start anew under new head coach Dave Smart, who last year was an assistant over at Texas Tech. But I think more importantly, this is someone who had a ton of success at in Canadian basketball, and this is where I think you're going to hopefully see how this program really starts to turn it around. Like Smart racked up 591 wins in his time coaching at Carleton University. This is someone who knows how to win. And he's helped out with a lot of the Canadian basketball camps and the U teams and everything else. So like he also understands the talent level and the resources that are available on that front. And again, like that is a country we've seen plenty of Canadians come to the States playing college basketball, obviously in the NBA. It's ripe with talent, and a lot of guys, like we've seen Gonzaga take advantage of a lot of Canadian players who have come in. Robert Sacre obviously is one that kind of jumps out in my mind as being one of those big examples. And you could see in the way Dave Smart started recruiting, that's exactly what he did. He went to what he knows. First off, like he went and got, not in order, but just going through the roster, he went out and got Jefferson Coulibaly from SMU, who would also spend time in Washington State, 6'3" guard, Canadian. He missed last season due to injury. He battled injuries a lot in those first 2 years. But when he was a high school player, this was someone who was the Ontario Scholastic Basketball MVP, averaging 27 points a game, 10 rebounds, 5.6 assists. He did it all. A great shooter, decent passer. Not a ton of film on him because he has been banged up so much over the last few years. But this is someone, if he's right, has a lot of potential to be someone who's going to make an impact on this Pacific squad right away. He also went and picked up Elias Ralph from the University of Victoria, 6'7" forward. This is someone who was averaging 15 points per game, 8 rebounds, 40% from 3. Possible playmaker. Some of the film like of him, like he's good at attacking the basket, has multiple different looks he can give you. But again, like looking at that 3-point percentage, I think we kind of see like what they're looking for. Like they need guys who are going to be able to attack, but then also guys who are going to be able to stretch the floor. And Ralph is going to be one of those guys who is going to potentially do that for the squad. Elijah Fisher, another Canadian product, 6'6" guard from DePaul, coming in. So with some Big East experience, even though DePaul was not good last year. 10 points per game, 52% from the field. This is someone who's going to attack the rim at will. 65% of his field goal attempts came at the rim. So if you're looking for a guy, like what style is he going to play? That's what he's going to do. He's going to attack. And this is, I think, one of the things Pacific is going to have to do. I think they have to almost be like a scrappy, grinded out team. And just starting to look at some of the roster pieces, I think we're starting to see a pattern of maybe scrappier attack the basket guys. Looking at someone going through the roster, looking at Lamar Washington, who's coming with Dave Smart from Texas Tech, someone else who also attacked the rim quite a bit. 58% of his field goal attempts came from there. Didn't play too much at Texas Tech last season. Well, he played 30 games. He averaged 2.1 points per game. But at a high school, this is someone who was very highly regarded, named the Oregon Gatorade Player of the Year. He was also the Max Prep Player of the Year after his junior season, so very highly sought after at a high school. But this is someone who's going to attack, but a little on the turnover prone side. So I think limiting mistakes is going to probably be a key component as you watch Lamar Washington moving forward. Another one in that backcourt who's going to be joining them is Danye May, coming over from Connors State College, another 6-foot junior. This is someone at the JC level, led the conference and ranked in top 10 in the nation in assists and assist the turnover ratio. Talked about those turnovers earlier. This is someone who's going to be able to take care of the basketball and might be that point guard right away. Averaged 6 assists a game, 12 points, was a 42% three-point shooter. So this is, I think, someone who's going to be able to really kind of give the Tigers a different look one way or the other. I mean, I've talked about a lot of like smaller guys. I have like 1 guard, 2 guard, 3 guard, 4 guard. Well, I do need some size here. And they did go out and get Jazz Gardner from Nevada, former 4-star recruit who ended up with the Wolfpack last year. Played in 20 games, 2.5 points a game, 2 rebounds. Wasn't used a whole lot. A lot of potential. You can see in some of the film he does finish well around the basket. I did see that it did look like he was a little on the slow side on tape, so defense is kind of something I'm kind of curious about going into the year. But this Pacific team just needed an infusion of talent, and I think they got that with the pieces that they're bringing in. You also have a Minnesota transfer, Chris Kynes, who's coming in as well. He didn't play too much at Minnesota, but this is someone who played in the NBL in Lithuania. And so this squad, I think, is going to can you get out the gutter? Can you be respectable? Is the goal for Pacific this year. And based on a lot of what they've been able to bring in, I'm mildly optimistic about what Pacific is going to look like this season, because you win 0-16 in league play, you win 6-26. It really can't go backward from there. So this is a program I think that's going to look better. I think that they've brought in pieces that are going to make them tougher, that are going to have them grind out more games. They've brought in some shooters, and yes, they've had shooters like Judson Martindale, obviously, was one of their best shooters over the last few years. But this is someone, they've brought in a few guys I think that are going to help stretch the floor, a few more guys that can stretch the floor. They have some interesting opportunities. Looking at their schedule, looking at San Jose State on November 8th, now that's a team, even though, yes, San Jose State's not a great team, but an opportunity that I think is a good enough opportunity for Pacific to kind of see who they are. They will be traveling to Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks there. So this is John Calipari's first year with the Razorbacks. It'll be interesting to kind of see what that all looks like. Obviously, Pacific's not winning that game, and that might be a blowout win. But if they can somehow keep that interesting, at least for a while, I think it would be a good sign that Pacific might be doing some of the right things early on. They're going to be at Colorado. They're at UNLV. So a lot of these teams, like, they are being brought in to be the body bag game. They are being brought in to be a win. And I think a lot of those early challenges are going to prep them for WCC play. And there's going to be opportunity, I think, against some of the teams at the lower end of the league. Pepperdine, Portland, Oregon State, San Diego. And if they start to pick up steam, maybe they do steal one from someone. Again, Pacific just 2 seasons ago was actually hanging around in the middle of the league. It was this past season that it all fell apart, and they had to hit a reset button. if Pacific can, I think if they can figure out a way to grind these games out, be more competitive, they're going to give themselves a shot in more of these games. And that was just something we did not see a year ago. They were one of the worst teams in basketball, and we all saw that, and the tape didn't lie. That is what they were. So going into the season, I'm optimistic about Dave Smart stepping into this role. There's a lot of work to do at this specific program before I think we could say that it's at a respectable level. But that's the challenge here. If they can point it in the right direction this season and continue to grow, obviously like picking up different prospects and adding to pick up some key guys in the transfer portal and whatnot, keep guys around that they did bring in that are helping push in the correct direction, I think that there's a great opportunity for this Pacific program. And we, years and years and years ago, many probably don't remember that Pacific was one of the better mid-major programs in college basketball. And it has been a rough go of it largely since they've joined the WCC. And it would be great for them to get pointed back in the right direction and get closer to what we saw this squad be in the early 2000s and in the 90s.